As we pointed out earlier on this channel, there is much more than meets the eye concerning this Cherera 4 manenos. And the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee in Parliament, which is very determined, very aggressive, chasing timelines to ensure that the Cherera 4 leave the IEBC as soon as possible, like yesterday. Now sample the following. If you are President of the Republic of Kenya, and somebody like Raila Odinga, your rival, wants to do rallies countrywide to protest your decision to remove those 4 commissioners, that is the aim of those rallies and nothing else. If you are the president, what would you do? Well, the decision would be very simple. What you would do would be to frustrate Raila, and that would be very easy. You simply stop the action you're taking against the Cherera 4, and that stops the demonstration, stops the rallies being planned for major towns countrywide, and puts Raila in a defensive position. Because now what will he tell the people? Why does he want to hold meetings countrywide? If he brings up another issue, it will look lame, it will look bad. And so in that way the president can very easily frustrate Raila. But we are not seeing any signs of the instructions coming from State House to the Parliamentary Committee, the JLAC Parliamentary Committee, the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. We don't see any let-up in the instructions coming from State House to this committee. Hurry up! Get this 4 out of the IEBC. Indeed, Parliament is even going to have a special sitting, because they're in recess as from today. But they're going to have a special sitting on December 8th. Not to discuss food shortage, not to discuss GMO, not to discuss the security situation in the country, and the many other problems facing Kenyans. No! But to discuss and take forward the removal of this Cherera 4. Now, isn't it rather obvious that the removal of this 4 is extremely important for the Ruto administration? Very important. So important that all other pressing issues can wait. Lazima tumalizane na hii kwanza. Now think about it for a minute. Isn't that odd? Isn't that very strange? Since when did the removal of IEBC commissioners become an emergency? Since when? Ulisikia wapi? Ulisikia wapi? Well, the answer is almost obvious. The truth of the matter, very sad, but this is the truth of the matter, is that it is important for the survival of the Kenya Kwanza UDA government that these 4 commissioners, in fact whistleblowers, heroes of the Kenyan people, it is very important that they are removed as fast as possible, because the very survival of the Kenya Kwanza UDA government depends on their removal. It's that simple. Heroes and heroines: Juliana Cherera, who's the vice chair, Francis Madenge, Irene Masit, and Justus Nyang'aya. These gallant and very brave Kenyans have done nothing wrong. Absolutely. But when you look at the charges against them, they're almost laughable, if this wasn't such a serious matter. Contravening the Constitution, that's one of the charges. How did they do it? How did they violate the Constitution? What did they do that was in violation of the Constitution? To refuse to tow the Chebukati line? But that's not their duty. Their duty to Kenyans is to ensure free and fair elections. And if even the chairman threatens that, it is their duty to step up and say no, which is exactly what they did. So how did they violate the Constitution? The other charge against them is gross misconduct. They misbehaved. How did they misbehave? Because they tried to get a meeting with the chairman, their boss. The chairman ignored. The chairman didn't want a meeting, for reasons which should be pretty obvious to Kenyans after we saw the results he announced. Yeah. The other charge is incompetence. They're not able to do their job. I'd be very interested to hear the details of how these 4 gallant Kenyans were incompetent. I'd really like to know, because I can't figure out how. They're incompetent. Somebody who is incompetent is somebody who absolutely has no idea what they're supposed to do, which is the very opposite of how these 4 commissioners have behaved. In fact, they have written their names in history. They will be forever remembered as whistleblowers. Yeah, because governments come and go. State house occupants come and go. You see, there are very many dangers in these planned Raila Odinga rallies. Chances are extremely high that they could trigger the emotions of Kenyans to protest many of the other things that are disturbing them and ailing them. It could actually trigger the masses to gather the momentum to say no to this government. It's very dangerous. But then it appears that the William Samoei Ruto government wants to risk that, which means that they're very desperate to get rid of the Cherera 4. It is very important. So important that all the other risks, tutajipanga baadaye, will handle those later. What about if they reach a point where you can't handle them, where they can't be handled? Because guess what? The real power is with the people. And you don't want a situation where the people gang up against you. No. A government should do everything in their power to avoid such a situation. But this government isn't, because it is laser focused on removing the Cherera 4. Legitimacy issues. Survival of this government issues. That is really what it is. And now it is becoming crystal clear, even to those Kenyans who are doubting. Now I'm told very reliably that the entire Justice and Legal Affairs Committee is satisfied that there are sufficient grounds to remove the 4 commissioners. Now I find the use of the word sufficient very interesting. When you say sufficient, yeah, for instance your bank account, there's sufficient funds for me to pay for this. It means they're just enough, and you need enough to withdraw the funds. What you want to do is to withdraw the funds. And so in this case it's very clear that the objective is not to clean up the IEBC. The objective is not to correct a wrong. The objective is to get this 4 out at all costs, to look for whatever reason, whatever grounds, to get them out. What justice is there in that? You tell me. What justice is there in doing that? In my opinion, we are playing with fire. Tunacheza na moto hapa. That is really what it is. And for what? For the survival of a government? For the survival of an individual? Is it really worth it? Actually, it can never be worth it. It is that time of the year again. Yeah, December. It is a time that I dread. I'm sure most of you also dread it. Yeah, the holiday season, etc., etc. But my reasons for dreading it are different. It is the time when one of you, my fans, my followers, suggested a short while ago that people should be given an opportunity to gift me and actually support the work I do on this channel for a better Kenya. And the reason why I dread this time is that some of us on this channel take this thing very wrongly. First of all, it's voluntary. It comes out of the heart of a person. There's no favorism of those who support me. No. But for those of you, the majority, who appreciate and always without fail support what I do on this channel, I can never thank you enough. And I can never stop praying for you and whatever you're doing. You know, I really appreciate you guys because you're closer to me than a very close friend. Many of you are aware that the year 2022 started tragically, very tragically, for me. And you guys, you guys did something in my moment of grief that I will never forget for the rest of my life. You stood with me more than anybody would have expected you to stand with me. And for that, I shall be forever grateful. And I will never stop thanking you. Thank you very much. Therefore, we have come to that time again. Thank you in advance for the support you give me. It helps me a lot on this channel. There have been very many challenges this year, and there are more challenges in the coming year, but I'm very determined. You're a great help, a greater help than you'll ever know, in my being able to fulfill my mandate, the reason why I was born, to fight without ceasing, without getting tired, for a better Kenya. A better Kenya for us, but most probably a better Kenya for those who are going to come after us. It is a noble thing. And by supporting me, you're very much a part and parcel of it. And therefore, I can say with confidence that someday in the future, it must be recorded that so and so, you were a support in the noble work of fighting fearlessly for a better Kenya, carried out by a humble blogger called Kumekucha Chris. You know, I get blown away by the lives in Kenya that you have touched on this channel. I get blown away by the seemingly small achievements we've made on this channel for a better Kenya. And it helps me to soldier on in my God-given mandate. Folks, whatever the situation today, a better Kenya is coming. But we must keep fighting for that better Kenya. I take this opportunity, this early opportunity, to wish you happy holidays and a very prosperous new year. I know the circumstances are hard. I know that all forecasts, economic, financial, may be very gloomy. However, be encouraged in the fact that even in gloomy times, there are those stars that shine very brightly, so brightly that you cannot miss them. So once again, thank you so much in advance for your very generous contributions to the work of Kumekucha Chris, your very humble servant. Details of where you should send your contributions and how to send them are in the description area below this video. And they're also right in front of your screens right now. let's never lose hope. Tuendelee kujivunia kuwa Wakenya hata kama hali ni ngumu.